a wholly personal recollection from the first war in which I fought, which was the Second Lebanon War inside southern Lebanon. I remember when rumors started to abound about the notion that a ceasefire might actually be in the midst of being brokered. And I was serving there as a heavy machine gunner in this particular formation. I was bringing up the rear in an open field maneuver that we were doing. And I turned to my commanding officer, who was a lieutenant colonel, and I said to him, it must now be the end of the conflict. The conflict must now be coming to a close. We're hearing rumors about the idea that a ceasefire is coming about. And he turned to me, and without missing a beat, he said to me, no, this is exactly when the fighting intensifies, because each side wants to fight to the most advantageous endpoint in the event that a ceasefire is indeed brokered. And I've always carried that with me. That advice has proven itself to be reliable and true in subsequent wars. And I believe that it speaks to why we are continuing to fight and push the advantage inside Gaza City. The other point that I wanted to end with on this subject is that I remember in 2014, Hadar Goldin of blessed memory, a young lieutenant in the Israel Defense Forces Special Forces unit, was kidnapped and killed, and his body was dragged into a tunnel, and his remains are still being held inside the Gaza Strip somewhere. To a limited degree, we became engaged with that family, trying to assist them. And I count Hadar's twin brother, Tzor Goldin, to be among one of my dear friends to this day. But when I would go and visit the Goldin family in Kfar Saba, where they lived, their father and mother, Simcha and Leah Goldin, always had a very, very clear ethos when it came to the tactics that it wanted the public to utilize with a view to bringing back their son. And this is, again, back in 2014. They always said, we have to make sure that Hamas understands that the seizing of our people is a burden and a liability, never an asset. Now, they were saying that all the way back in the events that led up to Operation Protective Edge. It's tragic that they had to utter those words, that they had to consider such a plan, such an idea. Unfortunately, back then, they were acting largely alone in isolation. And it's very, very lamentable that today they are no longer alone as a result of the horrors of October the 7th. And I very much hope that all of our hostages, the living, the dead, and those like Hadar Goldin, who has been in captivity for far too many years, are all brought home very, very swiftly.